Hello and welcome. I have been doing a lot of DCS A10C not too long ago, and I decided, like, why not just make a video that runs through quite a few of the things in DCS A10C, because I've been seeing myself making quite a few mistakes, and so I just want to talk through that and just show you what were these mistakes, and well, maybe so you can learn that I made these mistakes and not make them yourself. Anyways, I'm not going to run through all of the tests. I'm going to run through a few of them. First things first, battery on and the battery inverter. Alright, this just gives you power to your whole system. Now you're supposed to do a lamp test, which, to be fair, it's an online simulator, so you're not really ever going to need that. With the power on, you can turn on the oxygen. The flow is indicated in this. When it shows up white, it's flowing. The left control plus C for the canopy. Now then you're supposed to put the radios, right click once on this one and this one, both to TR, which is transmit receive or some shit like that. Fuel pumps, so you can switch on the APU, which is right there. Now with the APU going, that's what you're gonna need to run the engine. You're not gonna be able to start the engine without starting up the APU first. So we're gonna wait for the APU to come online, which you can see on these dials down here. Like this one is APU fan speed. Go, and turn on the APU generator, so we actually get some power into our systems. Then we're supposed to already start up the engine generators for whatever reason, I don't know, I just followed the tutorial. Start the left engine with right Alt and then home to move it off idle, and then that engine will be starting to run. Now somewhere along this way you might get a master caution. That's going to be related to the generators being already on for the engines. Likewise, if you turn the generator for the APU on too soon, it will give you a master caution because the APU is not yet fully operational, so to speak. Okay, now while it's doing that, we're going to turn on the CDU and the other thing, EGI, whatever that is. You see our radio working. That is obviously one of the generators. Okay, that's one engine on. We're now going to start the other engine with the right control and home. Move it off idle. See down there, it's going to starting to move now. While that's going, we can look at the SAI of the uncages going up, going down, and then calibrate to roughly middle. Turn on the multifunction displays. Just those buttons, like this is just brightness. You have like low brightness, high brightness, and then just off. Even but it's running in the background, sort of, so you can just turn it on immediately, no problem. But you don't see it. Okay, that's the CICU on flight plan. That's this one. We put it on flight plan, so the steer points that are going to be visible on the HUD are visible on the HUD. Then we're going to put the IFFCC on test, and then we're going to hit enter, and then that's one just going to run a test, whatever. SAS yaw, yeah, then we need to turn these 4 switches. Let's just I think that's something to do with the control assist to keep you going in the right direction. Now the MFDs has come online, you see DTS upload, which is basically connected to all of the weapons you have on your stations. They have standard profiles and stuff, and as well as the route from the mission. So you click on load all, and then the dots here will disappear. And when the dots reappear, that's when you know it's done. So don't do anything with these MFDs until those dots are back. Now this test is done. I'm gonna exit it. You don't actually have to do this, but you can just also go straight here and just put it into on. It's the IFFCC, you just switch it into on, it's on. DCS is uploaded. You can look at the DSMS, check that everything is right. GBU-38, GBU-12, Mavericks, Lightning Pod, Jammer Pod, Rocket Pod, and Sidewinders, yes. Put that one on CDU. Here we can see the navigation lining out. Now the left number I'm not sure, the right number is the accuracy of the navigation system, the INS navigation system. Now this starts really high, as you can see it's 4.8, and when it gets to 0.8 or 0.7, INS nav ready will start flashing, and that's when it's ready and you can actually start doing something with it. So don't like, I'll tell you these steps when they turn up, but don't, you know, touch them. That's actually the flight plan. So which one have I been mistaken? No, it looks about right. Okay. CMS MP on standby. That's this. That's the flare dispenser. We can turn on this. This is the display here. This is the radar warning receiver. We see an E2. That's on our team that I put up there. Jammer and MWS. Which I'm not sure what that means anymore, but whatever. JTRS on. Now we need to see is navigation lined up yet. Almost. So what we can do in the meantime is we can go over here, because you can select these profiles by using. I guess it doesn't work. I just need to be master arm on. No, it's just cycling through waypoints now. Let's just put down waypoint on the. Okay, anyways, because what we need to do is we need to go into profile. Then we need to go to the bombs. Specifically, GBU-12 is the one we need. We need to view the profile. We set standard mode as CCRP. That doesn't really matter. I always like to go for ripple single, even when I'm dropping a single bomb, just because you can then change more settings. CCRP, CCIP. I'll explain them later, but not right now. And you're going to change settings, and very important, what you need to turn on is auto lace. That's one of the reasons why I was dropping bombs in CCRP, and I was like, these are guided bombs, why are they not being guided, you know? And then we put in 10. We see that it's not throwing an error, because then you need to clear first, and then we put that in that lace time, so that auto lace is on, and it will lace from 10 seconds before impact. The idea of this is that shut up, Darkstar. That you drop the bomb, and then 10 seconds before impact it will start lasing on the target, so it's actually a guided bomb, otherwise it's not guided, which is really annoying. So you save, you go back to stats, and then you're back here. And then I'm gonna check individually that it's like set per bomb individually as well, because I tend to select them. Like within here, so make sure that we have them set up individually as well. Now double check. Yep, it's saved. Okay, good. Okay, now the INS is ready. We can turn on nav, which means you have navigation, and then we put this one on EGI for your navigation systems. Now we can put this one on the TED, which is tactical something or other. Make that so you can zoom out, you see it has the route in there and everything. Okay. So having done that, we can put this one on TGP, and then we can heat up the GGP. We need to go behind the throttle here, see if I can reach it with the camera. This one which you cannot turn on if the thing is not lined up properly, and the radar altimeter. And the EAC, I'm not sure what it is or what it's for. All I know is that you need that to have the autopilot function. Because if you cannot turn the EAC on, you cannot turn the autopilot on. The EAC has to be on for the autopilot. Okay, so now we're going to be making ready for taxiing. So we're going to put an anti-skid. And then we're going to put the nose wheel, which is the insert button, or the pinky switch. And you have to arm the ejection seat. That's generally quite a useful thing. Okay, that's the startup procedure. We can start making our way out to the runway. Sup-bra. So I do like this spawn because you're right next to the runway. Gonna set the waypoint to number 2, bunkers. Now don't worry about this TGP saying this. It will come around eventually. It just takes some time to start up. Speaking of which, in the meantime, you can go to DMRS and you go to missile, and then you need to set the EO on, and then a timer will appear. That's for your Mavericks. You need to have that on, otherwise your Mavericks will not function. If you put it here on a Maverick, you see it's aligning, and the timer is also running on there. There you see, TGP is now ready, and we can go roll for takeoff. Now when the airspeed starts running above 50, you can turn off the nose wheel steering. So you do it on rudder and you're not like overcorrecting anything. Unfortunately, I always start drifting to the right immediately afterwards. But that's okay. Wait for the speed to go to about 140, start pulling on the stick a little bit. And then just keep the nose up and then let the plane itself glide off the runway. I should have probably used flaps. Gear up. Gear being raised goes hand in hand with a warning. That's just something that tends to happen, don't worry about it. Now we can look at the TAD page. I have selected waypoint 2, which is bunkers. So we're gonna perform some CCRP on the bunkers. Now what you need to do for that is you need to put the laser on arm, and you need to put a master arm on arm in order to drop the bombs. Now I go back to DMRS and I select both bombs. I double check the profile for both bombs. I make sure my laser is set up for that. Okay, now is perhaps a good time to talk a little bit more about the payload I've chosen. I have in the middle two, I have 2 JDAM bombs, and the 2 racks of 3 bombs are GBU-12s, they're laser guided bombs. Now one thing you do need for CCRP mode is the targeting pod. That's an absolute requirement. You need to have the targeting pod. So we're going to put the targeting pod in air to ground. And you can see it's beaming an image of right here, that little diamond, which is now in the air, which is, you can see the air. Anyways, I'm supposed to follow to my waypoint, and I'm nowhere near my waypoint because I've turned too far, so let's turn some back. You can see the waypoint is this icon, which displays some sort of information about the angle you have to go there and how far you have to go there, and the little line indicated from your slip indicator that tells you, like, hey, the waypoint's over there, Okay, so now we make the TGP soy and we slew it down. I don't know which keys. I've set this on my joystick. And the great thing about the TGP is it will stay on the ground. It will not move. Like Mavericks, they move with your plane, so you have to have a stable plane in order to properly lock them or slave them to the TGP, which is what I like to do. Okay, anyways, we've seen the bunker now. First we do left control and the key up to put it into point checking mode, and then we do the same thing but we hold up to set the speed. Now we hit the master mode and we go to CCRP. Now you see it's already 12 seconds away. 10, 8, and then we line them up on the two lines, and then we hold the firing button for the bombs. And then when it passes, the bomb is dropped. And I'm going to turn autopilot here. Now TGP here. This is the timer for when the bomb is gonna hit. And then the L is flashing. It started from 10 seconds, indicating that the laser's on, and we hit the target. So let's find another bunker. Let's do it again, and let's this time take the point of view from the bomb. So let's take this one. It's useful to fly on a little bit, because turn the autopilot back off, because it just allows you to have that run up, to have those few seconds to just align the bomb with the firing line, like the two lines, or rather. Alright, don't forget, set new speed. Don't forget to set the new speed, or you're gonna have a bad time. Also, don't forget not to stall on the turn, or you're also gonna have a bad time. Ah, just kidding. So you can see my nose passing through there. You can see the bunkers on the ground. Now we need to go a lot more to the left. Okay, there we go. It's because this is a GBU, you don't have to line it up perfectly, because it will guide itself. Pin on, bombs away. Autopilot on, now we can see the bomb. Initially it will go free fall, and then when the laser kicks in, you will notice. There we go, there's the laser kicking in, and you can see the bomb correcting its course in a semi-retarded way, but you know, it gets the job done. And it falls smack bang on target. Now, if you do not set up in the profile here, if you do not set auto laser on, and you do not set a timer for this, the bomb will just free fall and it will overshoot the target. Now, I guess you can't do it like that, because it doesn't really matter. All you have to do is not use CCRP. And for that we have something called, autopilot off, we have something called CCIP. Now CCIP is the one that we all know. Let's reset the GDP by clicking C1 short, just clicking C, and then it will reset onto the HUD on the top here. I'll go ahead and put it on standby, not to have a distraction. Now where did I leave these bunkers? Cause is that it? No, these are not it. There they are. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit blind sometimes. So you will see this line coming in. It's set for manual release. I don't know what the cross means. Probably means that I'm too low for doing this properly, but it doesn't matter because it's still accurate. So you just fly over to where you want to drop the bomb, and then click. GTP autolace fill. Yeah, that's because it's trying to autolace, but it won't because it's a free fall. And as you can see, I probably really was too low because it's not working. Okay, so now let's just go through here. CCRP invalid. That's okay. Let's go back to CCIP. Let's set. I don't know how to get rid of these warnings. I guess it'll just fix itself. It's like Windows in that regard. Now, view profile, change settings. Let's turn autolace off, so we don't get this warning again. Of course, you have to remember that once you turn autolace off, you cannot drop GBOs in CCRP, because you're gonna have a bad time. It's just not gonna work. Okay. So I'm gonna come back around, keep it a bit higher this time, so it doesn't complain Like, oh my god, we're too low, you know? It's saying caution, it's saying things, hitting master alarm, master caution won't work, won't help. Now normally you'd be doing CCIP with like dumb bombs on close range targets, and CCRP on with smart bombs like GBU on high value targets from high altitude, and this is really only something you can use from low altitude. Drop. Let's see how that one turns out. It's again going high, so I don't know. I'm guessing it's the GBUs that just don't want to hit their mark. Anyways, just use CCRP for them anyway, because it's obviously the superior way. Okay, so now let's discuss some other things. Most namely, I want to talk about this here. Now, you have this is the for HF and flares. That's also one thing I did recently, and I'm really excited. Merged. Hold on, I'm just gonna shoot this guy down so it's not gonna keep telling me it's merged.
Warning, autopilot.
And this is just I built this mission, so I put some planes and I was like, that'll be interesting at the same time. It's like, you wait for the tone, and then you can fire, and then the guy's like, oh shit, and then the missile sort of hits, doesn't really do much. Oh, he's gonna crash anyway. I also need to review the AA tutorial, so excuse me.
Warning, autopilot.
Now, I'm really annoyed because I don't know how to turn this off. I can put this on oh, let's turn it off. Start putting on test. Could even put you off, that would not be. I don't know how to get rid of that. Anyways, the Mavericks are online now because they have been counting now for like 10 minutes. I'm told it takes like 4 minutes or something for that to do. About as long as the nav system. That's okay. Now, one thing important to remember here is the slew. You can set the slew. If I hit 2 and I hit the slew, then it makes the slew 2. That basically determines how fast you slew the missile around. So if I just set it soy and I just move it around, you know, this speed at which it's moving around, that's set by the slew. So if I put it like, let's go wild, let's put it 10. Doesn't even take that. Doesn't even take 10. So let's just put it back on 5. 5, and then it actually slows slower on 5 than it does on 2. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay, so I've been actually doing the wrong thing. Let's just put it back on 5 then. Anyways, we're going to talk about the flare dispenser. That's right down here. This interesting little panel here. You see how many chef you have, you see how many flares you have, you see something, and you see which program you have selected. Now you can select several programs. From the face of it doesn't mean anything. You have to right click on the rightmost switch, which is the countermeasure dispense thing, and then you enter the profile itself. Now here you set the number of chef you have going on, the number of flares you have going on, the interval between each cycle, and then the number of cycles. So now I drop 1 chaff and 1 flare every 0.25 seconds for 6 cycles. So that's about 1.5 seconds. Then we save it and then we return. That's pressing the same button twice. Now I'm gonna put this one on semi by right clicking here once. Now it's gonna say, oh actually that's manual, so I'll put on semi here, and you see the S with the bar underneath it. You see you have profile A selected, you have 240 chaff and 120 flares. Now this is the jammer. You can set it on several things. It will automatically recognize this when you have it on semi. So when a SEM fires on you, it will recognize if it's SEM group 1, like modern SEMs, SEM group 2, older SEMs, AAA, air-to-air, whatever. that one has no function, as it said. Anyways, so normally you can do this by pressing the buttons 7, 8, 9 and 0 on the keyboard, like literally the numbers. I have bound one of them to my joystick, which is the one that's also on semi, which is manual release. So if I press that once, it deploys the scheme that we just built. Now the great thing about this is you can set up multiple schemes. So I can go to B, I can say like, okay, this one I want to be the chef scheme. I'm gonna have the same interval, and I'm gonna have a lot more cycles. And then C is gonna be the one for the flares, and I'm gonna stick to 4 cycles. Okay, so now if you deploy C, you see that's C, and because it's manual, we can deploy it one after the other, no problem. Semi-automatic means that it's going automatic, but also manually. And if we go to B, you see we deployed scheme B. So what I tend to think is a good way to do it is just keep A with chaff and flares as standard on manual, because you know, if you're gonna be in a panic, in a hurry, you're gonna want to drop the flares and stuff as soon as possible, immediately. So, yeah. I don't know how to get rid of these errors. I'm kind of bummed out by not knowing that. I'm sorry about that, but whatever. As soon as you drop another one that goes correctly, I think it just goes away. Okay, now let's talk about the manual, the semi, and the automatic. Okay. What manual does is you have to tell it to drop chaff and flares always, regardless. That's you. You're doing that. That's you. Semi-automatic means that as soon as a threat is detected and he fires a missile, it automatically executes the scheme selected and activates the jammer, I believe. If you have a jammer, it activates the jammer. And then automate, and then you can manually do stuff